Today I'll be teaching you how to make this super cute little witch's cauldron. It is so cute and perfect for Halloween. So let's jump in. Let me show you step by step how to make this. The very first thing we need is some green for the base of our cauldron, or the liquid part. And I did use light green with dusty green. I did some swirling in here. I ended up covering most of mine with the green pearl beads, but you don't necessarily have to. So I think it's nice to have the option of not covering the whole thing with beads. You're going to press it on marble, and then you can continue to press around the edge, and that will pull the rim off of the seal so that you're left with just the circle. It does take a little bit of time. This is a 35 millimeter stamp that's from my shop, begoodslettering.com, but you can see what you're left with. And then I just use scissors to kind of trim around the edge and clean it up a little bit. But that works really well to get a nice circle with your seal. It's a great technique for that. So I've got my circle. The next thing that I need to prepare are the handles for my cauldron. So what I'm doing here, I'm using gold. I'm pressing it on marble because it helps it cool quickly. Once it's cooled, I pull the stamp off, and I don't actually need the sill. I just need the edge of the sill. I use this little leaf for another sill, but this edge part, I just cut off a little portion, I would say maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, and then I just trimmed off the inside. So all you're left with is like the rim of the sill. So I made 2 of the same size. I'm using an X-Acto knife here, and you can see I just trimmed along the inside, so I'm just left with the rims. And then I did use a little round awl to kind of bend it, and also just my fingers. I just wanted to kind of get them to stay in kind of a rounded shape so they would look like a handle on the cauldron. So those are pretty easy to make. And then if you especially choose a seal like that leaf one, you can use that later too. Now I'm going to make the cauldron. We have to work kind of quickly here. Black wax on my marble to help it cool. Place in your green, press with your blank stamp, and then immediately place in your handles while the wax is still warm. So I added one to each side, and you can see here that's how it turned out. It's got to cool. And once it did, took 30 to 60 seconds, we're left with our cauldron. It's so cute. Next, we need to work on her legs and her feet. So I have a template, a PDF printable for how to do the feet and her legs that you can get in the description below. But what I'm doing here is I'm just pouring some wax out on parchment paper, using a spatula to get a nice thin spread of wax, allowing it to cool. And then once it does, I can cut it out and use it kind of as if it were paper. So I'm doing several colors here, the gold for the buckle, and you can see here is one of the little templates with her leg. So I'm going to use the vanilla blush as the base. So that's going to be her sock. And I made it a little bit taller than the actual template because we're going to fold it so that the fold is what actually sticks to the base of the cauldron. So first we're cutting out her stockings. Then I got this darker rose color that I'm going to be using for the stripes in her socks. So these ones I'm just kind of eyeballing. I'm just lining them up and cutting them. And then an important part with this process is just making sure that you place all of these things so that they stay in order, if that makes sense. So you can see I have my 3 stripes next to my socks so I don't get confused. Next, I'm cutting out the shoe. This was probably the trickiest to cut. You could probably use an X-Acto knife, but I was trying to do it more quickly, so I used scissors. But it did turn out super cute, and even if you don't get it super exact to the template, the general shape is totally going to work. And there's my little witch's shoe. It's so cute. Next, I need a little bit of gold for the buckle of the shoes. And then after that, I've got all of my pieces. I can start gluing these shoes together. You can see here I'm folding the wax. This worked pretty well. One of them did end up breaking. I'll show you that in a second. But I'm using Gorilla Glue here with a micro precision tip to glue this all together. So you can see there's just a teeny tiny drop there for my gold buckle, And I allowed these to completely dry. So I left these for about an hour before I came back to assembling them together. For this step, I've got these really cute green half flat back pearls, and they're perfect. When I saw these, I was like, I am getting these, and the whole idea was hatched out of seeing those. So I put a little bit of the glue here, and I folded the stocking down, and that's how it's going to attach. And I just wanted it to be straight. The issue is with this one, I had folded it too much, so it ended up breaking the sealing wax, and you're going to see that in just a second. It totally just fell down. So I had to kind of jimmy rig this together. I put a little bit more glue, and I put some glue around it to add some of the pearls to kind of support it. So I did add those pearls in first, so it had a little bit of support to hold up the stocking and the boot. And then it also wouldn't just stand up by itself like that. So what I ended up doing is getting all of those pearls. I did one more in the front, which seemed to help a little bit. And then you can see I put that in the front there. This is wax seal making. I normally don't show this part, but this is how I got it to stay up. I put the glue behind it to stand it up, and I let that sit overnight. And then once the glue had hardened, it was totally strong and stable. I then added more glue and started adding these with different like sizes. And I was going to do just portions of it, but once I got going, I just really liked the look. I ended up filling up the whole thing. This is how it turned out. It's so cute and perfect for Halloween. Let me know if you try it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more wax seal and lettering tips.